Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Ryan. I'm a former commando from the United Kingdom, and today we've got another update for Ukraine. Today's date is Sunday the 25th of September, thanks to my trusted calendar at the back there. And guys, thanks for stopping by for this update. I really do appreciate each and every one of you who's been supporting the channel. The views on these videos is astonishing. I'm extremely grateful. So without further ado, let's get straight into a bit of a map study and possibly a few other things, guys. A lot going on. So here we are in the east of Ukraine, in the Kupiansk area. Again, my pronunciation of these things is due to a lack of intellect and also my northeastern accent from the United Kingdom. So apologies. I'm going to apologize now and apologize never more on the rest of this video, guys. But yeah, we're going to get straight into it. Now, Ukrainian forces likely continue to make localized gains along the Kharkiv-Luhansk Oblast border on September 24th. In this area here, which was liberated since the 8th of this month. A Russian military blogger claimed that Ukrainian assault detachments occupied the settlements of, I can't pronounce this, Ryankiva. I've got notes on the side of how to pronounce these things properly, guys. But it's basically this area here, right there, where my trusted little sign is, which is effectively here. So just to the right hand side of the Oskil reservoir, guys. It is a little bit thin near this area, just east/right of the village/town of Dvorchna, I think you pronounce it. And we've got that is next to the settlements of Horobivka as well, which is here as well, troops. So we've got claimed that the Ukrainian assault detachment occupied these settlements in these areas. So it's quite positive news for Ukraine. They've managed to push through that Oskil part of that feature. You know, it's really hard features, rivers and stuff, to be able to militarily occupy and claim land thereafter. Just because, you know, the defensive positions, the slow movement and everything across them, it leads up to quite a hard push. But they've obviously pushed through some form of bridge system, and we can see that just here. All right, as annotated, that'll have been quite bloody. I don't think if Russia, depending on how deep Russia was defending those areas, how heavily defended they were, I think we would have seen, you know, potentially quite a loss of life there. There's no reports that I've read stating that, but I'm just trying to think of the nature of this type of warfare, how it's going to play out. Now, Russian sources additionally indicated that Ukrainian forces are continually pushing and pursuing battles further south along the Oskil River/reservoir near Kupiansk. So we're going down to Kupiansk, which is down this region here. So we're looking about, I think it's probably is about 70 kilometers, I would say. In fact, let's measure it out. How far is that from Kupiansk to here? We're looking at about actually 17 kilometers rather. So that's quite a distance on foot, you know, to be pushing the battles down there. But obviously they're focusing their efforts right hand side of the Oskil reservoir. They've been successful, Horobivka and the other settlement there just right of Dvorchna. So it's good, guys. It's positive to see this, and I'm happy that that's happening. Now, when we're talking about Kupiansk and just north there, where they've taken the settlements from, the feature of the Oskil River and Reservoir isn't as prominent until we get down to Borova, you know, that area, and it is effectively this bit here. That's when the river starts to really thicken out. It's going to be really hard for them to get any kind of traction there. So that's why I believe, along with the push down Lyman, and they're going to be pushing north, where the river isn't as difficult to get across. So that middle part, I wouldn't be expecting anything prominent happening on the left-hand side, the western side of the river. But yeah, maybe Ukraine can push through where they've pushed through on the settlements and then push south on that Oskil reservoir, taking the likes of Borova and these other areas, guys. But there's plenty of room for them to do that, but I don't think they're going to be able to push past the river from this direction. That's for sure. Not from here. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised if this area isn't really going to be pushed through. I think we're going to see potentially a lot more happening in and around this area where, you know, they can push through. I don't want to say with relative ease, but whilst the river is thin up there, I think it's going to be a lot easier. And I think what they're going to be doing is taking local settlements as they go, and then potentially pushing southward, depending on how much of how much the Russians will be pushing them back from this direction. And at this moment in time, there's no reason to think that that's going to happen, guys. So if they keep on pushing south, back down to Lyman, my plan, as I thought it was going to be, which I mentioned a couple of days ago, is coming to fruition now. So it's good to see this. Now, all that being said, these Russian claims are they're quite consistent with the statement made by the Ukrainian General Staff that the Ukrainian troops repelled a Russian attack on Petropavlivka. I believe that's how it's spelled. And that is where we are here. Here. So just south of where they've been fighting. So, yeah, they are. It does look like they're pushing through from the settlement all the way down. And obviously the repelling of attacks there. There's apparently footage of this area which indicated that Ukrainian forces have made further gains east of Kupiansk as well. Geolocated combat footage shows that Ukrainian forces actually destroyed a Russian tank just east of this area here. So if it's just east of this area, you know, that's quite a push. Although this map isn't really annotating that this area here has been taken, we can see if we zoom back out again. This is of today. Yesterday, this ground wasn't taken. Obviously, it takes a little bit to update, but we can see here we've got quite a bit of land being pushed through the right-hand side of that Oskil reservoir here, which, in terms of distance, we are looking at, that's, you know, 5 kilometers by 9 by about, yeah, it's 13 kilometers round. So that's quite a large chunk of area. My understanding of it is they've probably pushed just right of this Petropavlivka. And if they've done so, they'll have probably closed off that land, looking something like this. You know, and I'm just trying to think what's going to happen in the future. They might effectively, you know, I think they're going to take these settlements to the east of the Oskil reservoir, pushing down past these, taking them all the way down, and then they'll have full control of that feature then, but effective, proper control, okay? Not just kind of controlling the areas. That's why we've seen this war slow down effectively over the past few weeks, past week or so. Because they're fighting organized, they're fighting with clear direction, and they're fighting in a way that they don't want to lose this land now that they've taken it back, guys. I think this is going to happen all the way until they reach this southern tip here, where especially Lyman. We've talked about that quite a bit over the past few days, but we've got a bit more information coming to you on this area specifically. So it is positive. We've seen them not just have major success in taking these settlements. We've seen them obviously fighting back Russian, repelling the Russian attacks, you know, that are defending themselves as well. So what that tells me is they're not just pushing through, they are fighting a semi-aggressive fighting force back, okay, who are prepared to defend themselves, and they're getting traction and they're winning, which is positive, guys, okay? They're not just fighting Russians who are retreating now, you know, they've got a bit of fight in them, they're sending tanks in, counterattacks and stuff, and they're still being successful, which tells a massive positive story for Ukraine, which is great. Now, it has been reported that recent rainfall has actually slowed Ukrainian attempts to advance further east of positions along the Oskil River and reservoir. That kind of ties into the situation a little bit more when we're thinking, why is it slowed down? You know, if we go back here, we've seen massive traction, like here, we've seen humongous amount of traction, and then all of a sudden it stopped. Well, there's a number of reasons for that. It's not just the fact that that is a hard feature to push across. You know, we've talked about that in many of the other videos, but obviously the weather has played a bit of a part in that as well. And I think we're going to see that going forward as well, especially as we get close to winter. Who's going to be better prepared for that? Some say Ukraine because they're fighting in the home territory. Some say Russia because they're simply used to that kind of weather, okay? I say both are going to struggle for different-ish reasons. More similar than different, though. So yeah, that's an interesting concept to get into as well. The weather. What do you think is going to happen as we draw closer to Christmas/winter? Now, with that being said, with regards to the weather conditions, it's obviously made the terrain across country very, very muddy, which in essence is going to make it very difficult indeed to effectively transport the heavy stuff. You know, we're talking about heavy weapons, heavy artillery, machinery and equipment, all of that good stuff, vehicles as well. Although you might think, you know, a lot of these vehicles are made for this terrain. There's only so much they can do, guys, all right? You're crossing boggy land here. They're going to be limited, okay? That's going to affect it's going to affect their progress, okay? The kit as well is going to become less serviceable, so you're going to get a lot more problems, especially with transport and things. Morale, all right? No one likes working in cold, wet and muddy conditions at all, guys. It's one of those things. And the recent weather patterns in northeastern Kharkiv Oblast may explain why recent Ukraine advances near that area have been largely been along existing roadways to the east. Roadways obviously can't get boggy. You can't get bogged down in the roadways instead of using fields. So this is when soldier discipline comes into it. This is where you really need to be disciplined in your soldier. And the easy route isn't normally the best route. And that was what I was taught in the Marines. Sometimes the hard route across the boggy land and stuff, no one wants to go across there. If you can, you have a tactical advantage. Not all the time, but if you're prepared to go the extra mile, it can sometimes have, a positive effect rather than a negative one. That being said, the fact that they are using those roadways, it also allows Ukrainian troops to threaten Russian positions without having to risk traversing muddy terrain under Russian artillery fire. So in that case, in the threat of imminent danger in regards to artillery, no one wants to get caught up in that. Trust me, nobody. It's going to allow them to threaten Russian positions without having to risk themselves in a negative way. Okay, they're not going to lose any guys, kit or equipment. To the extent that Ukrainian advances are confined to roadways in these areas, okay? However, the limited affected Russian forces in the area are more able to concentrate to their slow advances, all right? So they'll be able to dig deep, defend, resupply as good as they can, and prepare to fight in a better fashion because the movement is slower. And the fact that Ukrainian forces continue to make gains, nevertheless, suggests that Russian troops on the axis are weak and vulnerable. So irrespective of how well they are managing to get a little bit of time with regards to Ukraine pushing forward a little bit slower, you got to remember when Ukraine put a bit of pressure on, Russia retreated pretty quick. Now they've slowed down a little bit. Maybe they're not retreating, but they still haven't got the fight in them, okay? That's what I believe anyway. Ukrainian troops are likely continued offensive operations around Lyman. So let's get back into the map now. It's likely that they've continued operations south of the Oskil River/reservoir. Back to this little honey gem here, Lyman, proven to be quite difficult to take. As you can see, we're zooming back to the 18th, 17th, 16th. So the 17th is when we've seen major movement towards it. But since then, we haven't really seen much. However, I did say north of this region that they're potentially going to start pushing through this area. And I'll show you a little diagram of what I think was going to happen. We weren't too far off, guys. Arrow. I thought somewhere around this area they were going to start pushing through. Okay, a little bit of a gap there. Pushing through, taking these settlements, and then potentially smashing down here, taking these settlements on the way, and then surrounding Lyman. That's what I predicted. Now, if we look at our wonderful map here, look what's happening all of a sudden. Boom. See that? Oh, there we go. There's our little push through there. I wasn't expecting it to be as high as that near Lazov, but it's happening nonetheless. This whole area is being taken, all right? This whole area. Massive amounts of land there that Ukraine can fight from. So what's going to happen now? I suggest that what's possibly going to happen, and Ukraine wants to do this, they're going to push on even further. They might even push on through to this little border feature here. with the intention of not just pushing on down to Lyman, or Lyman, how it's pronounced, but actually taking all this land along the way. It would make sense if they wanted to do that. And as a result, would there even be a fight in Lyman? Would there even be a fight there? Would those who are in Lyman know that that's happening well and truly before it's happening and just get the hell out of there? I would probably think that this will be taken without too much fighting indeed. I might be wrong on that. I know there's been fighting occurring there right now. We've got wood blocks and stuff in between Lyman. So, there's stuff happening there. But I think what's going to happen, they've got more chance of surrounding the place and people getting the hell out of there due to this little punch through the front lines there. I think Lyman will probably end up deserted well and truly before that place is hard and pushed. Okay, but we will see in the coming days. I think days, not weeks, as well. Now, a Russian source actually claimed that Ukrainian troops took control of Nov, which is here. Wonderful little settlement there, 18 kilometers north of Lyman. Not too far away, guys, okay? Not too far away on the prize. And I'll continue to push south of Lyman from the Ridkodub-Nove line. Not too sure on where that is, actually, but it says south. Now, 7 Russian military bloggers claim that Ukrainian troops also took control of half of Novoskelivka, which is, let me find it, just down here. So if they've took over half of that, they've took over this. What they're probably going to do is, once they've claimed this line here and they've claimed here, you've got a little bit of a frontline punch going on there. It wouldn't surprise me if Karpivka is taken as well, effectively putting Ukraine in a position where the controlled territory looks like that. That's a massive amount of land claimed. And, Lyman, I think Lyman's going to be easier than we first anticipated. They're going to end up taking land above it. That's what I think. Again, I'm not a military strategist. If anyone knows anything better than this, please let me know in the chat, guys. I'll be happy to get your understanding of it as well. So, yeah, focusing on the counter-offensive, guys, because there's quite a lot of things going on always in these regions here. We're going to probably give you some updates. If you'd like to see some more updates regards this area specifically, let me know in the comments and I'll do that for you guys. But we are focusing on the counter-offensive up here because there's lots of interesting stuff going on. I really do. I don't like to use the word enjoy, but I'm happy with what I see in terms of this push here, especially this little breakthrough. I think this breakthrough here is exactly what happened in this region before they took Kupiansk. We've seen a massive push through of land where Ukraine basically boxed them off and pushed them through this corridor, leading to pretty much all of this region being taken by Ukraine. It's interesting times to say the least. I think this could be the start of another major push via Ukraine and positively for Ukraine. But what do you guys think? I'm just the guy who's giving you this information based on my military experience, and it's just the way it is. I'd like to address a few things, guys. Before we, continue on this, I just want to summarize on a few things. If you're watching from Ukraine, then my heart goes out to you. I really do wish you the best. If you're a veteran of some sort, any military, I'm not really bothered. It's fine. Then thank you for your service. And thank you guys for supporting me. It really does go a long way. And I'm not the best at this. I'm not professing to be. I humbly try to give you the best information I can and articulate it in a way that makes sense for me and it might make sense for you. I've had a number of comments say, you need to stop saying and do this and that. Hey guys, I get it. I'm just a human. I'm not a professional at this by any stretch of the imagination. So all of those isms that present to you, you are there, you can see them all. But I'm laying my heart on the line, just trying to do this and give you the best information naturally, organically from, this is just my office. Okay. So that's that. And if you're here supporting me, then I really do appreciate it. Every single one of you guys. Anyone that donates on the channel, thank you. That money is, I'm not a millionaire by any stretch of the imagination. Trust me, I'm a normal guy. So when people are sending in super chats and stuff, you'd be surprised at just how grateful me and my wife are, okay, and my child. In these times, like, I really, really mean it without trying to sound corny or anything. I'm genuinely so grateful for everyone watching the channel mainly. So thanks, guys. I have to say that because not enough YouTubers do that at the end. They just want to keep it strictly professional and edit the perfect video. I'm not bothered. At the end of these videos, I'll try my best to give thanks back to you guys. It's as simple as that because I'm just a normal guy. All right. I just so happen to serve in the Royal Marines. That's it. That being said, I'm also on a venture to hopefully start YouTube boxing. And I need you guys to watch these videos as much as I can because the views and the subscribers directly account for whether or not a talent manager will take me on and pursue and help me out. Okay, so the more you watch these videos, the more you're contributing to hopefully allowing me to get on a YouTube boxing show, which, guys, if you're asking why would he possibly want doing that, you know, for the money that they get, it's because listen, if I was a millionaire, I wouldn't be jumping in a boxing ring in my mid-30s. I'm doing it to give my family a better future, guys. So that's why I want to get in there because I know I can give something to offer, and in return, hopefully, I can set myself up a little bit. That's that, guys. Thanks for stopping by. If you like these updates, let me know in the comments, and I will see you definitely in another video very, very soon. Thank you, guys.